Left jab, uppercut, leave you laid out on the floor. Try to duck and roll, hit and miss, now you counting stars. Should've practiced more, should've hit the mask, get out there more. Man, that you're the best. You gotta show me, son. Actions over words, baby boy. Is you real or what? Talking way too much, world come. Back sports, talking way too much, world come. Back sports, talking way too much, world come. Back
Yo, big shout out to the hottest chat in the MFing game. A-Side official. No negotiation needed, period. You already know WCS is the first in the building. Big shout out to those on deck. Carlos Rosado, I see you. WCS salute. Salute to you, man. Appreciate you pulling up as always. Tank still fighting Roach, right? We're going to get to that, big dog. We're going to get down. Carlos don't waste no time. No time heading into a Wednesday. He said, let's get it over with. Let's hurry up and get the day over with. I want information. Cut to the goddamn chase. Let's get to it. Forget what you're talking about and the topics that you got. I just want to get down to the thumbnail. We have various topics. Of course, Tank, I'm still fighting in Houston. He sent out the tweet. Will Ennis match his expectations? Okay. So first of all, I do have some other topics such as Haney, Garcia, and so forth. Just some miscellaneous topics as always. Also, I want to talk about the recent main event between Ilian Poirier and Max Holloway. I want to get them out the way because it's not really big, but I want to put it out there. I know Teofimo Lopez, this is a jab at you. You were on a pity parade to pretty much, somehow gain support for your derogatory comments, you know what I'm saying, towards black people. I wanted to put this out there that to Poirier in mixed martial arts, who has somewhat less experience than you have, you know what I'm saying, doesn't even have a fighter that was recently on the pound for pound list. But just to dress it up a little bit, he just went in there and fought the former featherweight champion. And with a record of 16-0, he earned $2 million. $2 million. So I'm saying to you, I'm suggesting maybe you should go to mixed martial arts. Because the Poirier 16-0, he just earned $2 million off fighting Max Holloway. You know what I'm saying? Max coming there, former featherweight champion, with 7 losses to his 26 wins. And Max is a legend in the sport. Over mixed martial arts, they do it different. They give you credit, you know what I'm saying, for who you fought, win or lose. And, Poirier beat Alexander Volkanovski, who was the reigning champion, and turned around and beat the former champion in Max Holloway, who had also lost to Volkanovski. He beat him in this. He beat both of them in the same year. But my whole point for Teofimo Lopez is that they're making over $1 million. We just had a situation play out with Ennis and Norman and many other fighters where money is an issue. You know what I'm saying? But you have some mixed martial artists over there making above $1 million. You should ask yourself, you know what I'm saying? You should really ask yourself what the heck is going on. You know what I'm saying? Moving on. Transition up out of that. Jack Catterall. Devin Haney. Devin Haney, Jack Catterall. Is this a pay-per-view worthy fight? If it's indeed happening. Because I always talk about the hocus pocus, and that shit pissed me off. I speak on the hocus pocus because it's something that exists, y'all. This is not just any hocus pocus. This is ominous magic. The hocus pocus of boxing is different. I'm going to be honest with you. It's quite different. We just heard, because I posted it up here. And let me repost it. All right. Let me repost what I put up here, because really I don't want to, but I just want to remind people what was put up here and tell you about the hocus pocus on how these fighters be playing this. All right. So y'all remember when Devin said I ruined Regis after Regis lost, right? And I beat him worse than Catterall. Regis just bitter. He don't have a chin. Bare knuckle fights aren't for him. He needs to become an amateur boxing coach, etc. Right? So recently, news had came out that Regis has doubled down on Jack Catterall being the best fighter he ever faced. I don't know if Regis was still a little bit loopy, but somehow he's doubled down and said Catterall wasn't the best fighter he faced. Also, when you look at some of the so-called beefs that's going on between these fighters in the sport, it's hard to even take them real anymore because they be faking it. Yeah, they be up here faking it. Wolf tickets. I heard through the grapevine, and that thing is long too, that Regis may potentially be going to fight camp, into Devin's fight camp, to help him prepare for Jack Catterall. Can y'all imagine some shit like that? All the attention talking about I ruined him and he should be a USA boxing coach and all this. And already they're talking about Catterall, Devin Haney potentially fighting, and Regis possibly heading to Devin's fight camp to help him out for Catterall. Can you believe that? Like, what are you going to gather from freaking Regis? A fighter that you already beat. Him and freaking Catterall don't have the same style. If it's indeed true, or is it just a freaking another, you know what I'm saying, smoke flare that they're putting up there just to fool the fans? That's just what I read out there. I don't want to take too much time on that. But y'all tell me, if Catterall and Haney is next, being that Catterall just fought at 140, what weight division will this fight be campaigned at? Because I see media always putting out this stuff, man. They just throw it on a conveyor belt and just spin it. Put it in rotation, yo. What weight class is this going to be at? Is it going to be at 140 or 147? And being that Catterall has came off, this is what's a bit delirious to some people to question. Why would Catterall be in the equation for Devin Haney's next fight if he just came off beating a fighter that Haney beat? Haney beat Regis, Catterall beat Regis, and Catterall knocked him down more times than Devin, from my understanding. And I'm just saying to myself, what point is it to fight a common opponent that both of y'all beat? The common opponent is now about to be Jack Catterall. Y'all already on White Regis nose. Why would you go up here and fight Catterall though? I mean, how is he supposed to get you through to the titles? I mean, that's just crazy to think about that. Like, it's a lot of times you don't even know which direction boxing is going. Like, what direction are they trying to? What's the destination? Y'all both beat Regis, a common opponent, but now you want to fight Catterall, who's a common opponent of Regis. I don't see how this benefits your climb in the sport. I don't see why it's not a move to 147. I don't know why you're not seeking out Ryan Garcia to make this happen. I don't know why that's not the priority. I would think that is the priority. Real talk. Let me share and go to an article right quick for y'all, as I always do. This is, of course, to Boxing News 24. Okay, it says Bill Haney wants Devin versus Jack Catterall in the UK. Now, is there something wrong with going to the UK? No, definitely not. And say he wants Devin Haney to face Jack Catterall in the UK rather than the US because he wants to do something for the British fans, y'all. He wants to do something for the British fans. He doesn't say whether it would require the Turkey Al Sheikh's finance the fight, because with the purse that Haney would probably want, he might not get that kind of loot that he's looking for. Eddie Hearns can't offer it. On paper, this would probably be the biggest fight Catterall can get at 140. Even bigger than Teofimo Lopez, who hasn't proven to be a draw despite holding the WBO light welterweight title since 2023. Haney wants to fight in the UK. All of a sudden, Haney wants to go global. I don't have no problem with that. I'm pretty sure Toby would be absolutely happy to hear that potentially Haney may be visiting. Catterall's lack of offense, low work rate, and skittish nature when under attack are clearly why Haney and Bill want to fight him. He did not look impressive in this fight against Regis Prograis last Saturday night, and they know he's an easy mark. They say Team Haney knows that Catterall is an easy mark, y'all. An easy mark. I remember growing up, you're a mark. You're a mark. Who else is better than Catterall? We're not saying Jack here. Okay? We're not saying Jack here. We're saying Jack in the UK, in his hometown, where everybody believes in him and what we find interesting, said Bill Haney to the Boxing Voice about wanting his son Devin to face Jack Catterall in the UK. You can't blame Haney and Bill for targeting Catterall because it's a very winnable fight for them, as we saw last Saturday in his fight against Regis Prograis. Catterall lacks the killer instinct and seems timid when under attack. He was running all around the ring when he was under attack by pros. Yeah, I said that he was ASICs. Catterall was ASIC. He was on the bicycle. He was on the unicycle. He was in retreat. And then nobody hardly say anything, all because he got, a couple of knockdowns and everything. They didn't say nothing about him running. They wasn't pouring on that freaking credit on Regis for pressing him early in the fight. It goes on to say, it's an opportunity to go fight in the UK, said Bill. It's not a feat for the faint of heart, with Devin being an A-side champion in America, going to Australia, going to the UK. I think a fight against Catterall at 140 keeps us right in line for Teofimo Lopez or any other champions at 140. Now this is where you just start to stutter for no reason. Because how many times they're gonna continue to just recycle these same names over and over again and nothing happened. Teofimo Lopez ain't mentioned your name. Y'all haven't really been mentioning Teofimo's name. At one point in time, is it just me or the last couple of months? It's been, Teofimo going at Crawford and Tank. When was he mentioning Devin's name? Hey, but this is the hocus pocus of boxing, y'all. This is the hocus pocus of boxing. Clout chasing festival. Whoever name you can mention to put it in the media, that's where it's at. I mean, I remember these two going at it lightweight, 135, and the fight never happened. Every time you turned around, it was back and forth, tit for tat, wiggity, whack, whack, wiggity. You know what I'm saying? Over and over again, and they never fought. But they did both become unified champions. Devin was able to unify for undisputed. But for this Teofimo Lopez deal, it makes no sense to even mention his name because he's not even mentioning y'all name at all. The fighters you should be mentioning is Ryan Garcia, point blank, period. That's who name you should have in your mouth. Every time a mic is in front of you, that's what you should regurgitate. Not any freaking Teofimo Lopez who seems to be, over there hydrating off Cinnamonello smoothie. You know what I'm saying? He's over there trying to reinvent himself off the hard work and sacrifice of Saul Canelo Alvarez. The article goes on to say, I don't think Haney and Bill will want anything to do with Catterall if he was a dangerous puncher. This is more about Haney seeing weakness in Catterall as he wants to take advantage. I think a fight against Blair Cobbs at 147 lines us up to fight for a belt at 147 against one of the champions. There, said Bill. Catterall is not big enough to demand us, to us that we go there. It's about going there for the UK fans. That's definitely on our checklist. So was it a quote that I just read up here? It's an opportunity right here to fight in the UK. It's not a feat or a feint of heart with Devin being an A-side, right? Champion and American going to Australia. American going to Australia. A fight against Catterall at 140 keeps us right in line for Teofimo Lopez or any of the champions. And then down here, I think the fight against Blair Cobbs at 147 lines us up to fight for belts at one. What? Catterall is not big enough to demand us to go there. It's about going there for the UK fans. I mean, which one is it going to be? It's going to be Catterall, then Blair to Flair. I don't know. It's just all over the place. Bill has a generous attitude about wanting to give the UK fans, but it's very hard to believe that this is a selfless move on his part. He's got to realize that there's money to be made in the UK with the big crowds, and it'll help Haney popularity to be seen there beating Catterall in front of a large audience. If Jack Catterall gets the UK fans going, then there's their guy. That's an opportunity for us to go there. It's about teaming up with Turki Al-Sheikh and, of course, Eddie Hearns to make that fight. What if it could potentially be? What it could potentially be. If the fight doesn't happen with Catterall, we can go back home and fight someone there, said Bill. It still remains to be seen if Turki will be interested in financing a fight between Haney and Catterall. If he does, he'll likely want the fight in Saudi Arabia rather than the UK. But that wouldn't change anything. Haney would do it because the money would be excellent. It'll be interesting to see if Haney versus Catterall fight happens because Devin's purse requirements will make it difficult to do without Turki's involvement. Hearns would likely balk if Haney asked for a huge amount of money for a fight against Calderon? It makes all the sense in the of Turkey Al Sheep balking at Haney asking for a big purse just because they're going over there. And then Haney just called Eddie Hearn. Didn't Haney just call Eddie Hearns a fake ass ninja? Wasn't that him? How y'all supposed to do business with him? But if he can get the bag, get the bag. I'm no way, shape, or form feeling no type of way. If you can get the bag, get the bag. Real talk. If you can get the bag, bro. You know? But with that said, I think it's just a better fight out there for Haney. If he wants to go over there to the UK, I'm not gonna say, well, he shouldn't go over there to the UK and fight Catterall. All I'm saying is, how does it provide you any type of airspace? You know what I'm saying, to get closer to that championship crown again in a different division, your third division. You know what I'm saying? What does it go? How does it benefit your manifesto as far as inserting your name close to moving up the pound for pound list? You know what I'm saying? That's, I thought, what the plan would be, to take fights that can move you closer to get you to be able to shift on the pound for pound list to get you to the bigger fights. You know what I'm saying? Catterall is not on the pound for pound list. He didn't beat Josh Taylor to get on the pound for pound list. You know what I'm saying? So that was my biggest question. Like, what is there besides Ryan Garcia? You know what I'm saying? And speaking of Ryan Garcia, right? It's Ryan Garcia taunts Bill Haney on social media. It says, did Ryan Garcia ruin Haney? Some believe that Ryan ruined Haney, who hasn't fought since his loss. Others doubt that he can still take a shot without going down his heap on the canvas. We won't know if Haney is still the same fighter until he gets in the ring with someone. Bill Haney has been sounding thirsty for the Ryan rematch, but he's going about it the wrong way. He's been pushing for him to sign up for VADA rather than telling him, hey, we'll drop the lawsuit. Let's run it back in April. You know what I'm saying? That's what a lot of people want to hear. Haney needs to fight these killers, per the article. Jerron Ennis, Teofimo Lopez, Liam Paro, Richardson Hitchens, William Cepeda, Shakur Stevenson, Javante Davis. It said, hey, Bill, happy Halloween. I got something to really scare you, said Ryan Garcia on social media. I think that Bill, his father, going after him, if you beat me unjustly or unfairly, I'm going to tell you, let's run it again. That's what real fighters do, said trainer Yoel Judah, the fight hype, reacting to Devin Haney suing Ryan Garcia after his loss. Real fighters do real things. Let's run it back. Let's run that one back right now. I think if Devin goes back in the way he's supposed to, I think he'll be victorious. If I was Devin, I'd go back in the Ryan, back in with Ryan again. Let's run it again. Let's do the rematch. Real fighters do real things. And just to think, Yoel Judah was in Devin Haney's corner for quite some time, here and there. And with that type of relationship, they don't always last a long time. But this is coming from Yoel Judah, who's been in combat sports for quite some time. Of course, the legend, his son, Zab Judah. You know what I'm saying? Hey, that's what he said. That was his words. And this is what Ryan Garcia had to say.
Hey, Bill Haney, happy Halloween. Love you so much. I got something to really scare you. Yes! Oh. Yes! 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 Hey, Bill.
I'm only going to play that one time because I'm not here to take shots at the Haney. I'm definitely not here to promote no Ryan Garcia. I was just putting it out there that, that is the fight, in my opinion, that we need to see. You know what I'm saying? That is the fight we need to see right there. Because at the end of the day, that's going to bring you the money. And Turkey Al Sheik is not stupid. Turkey Al Sheik is bringing fighters over there. And unless you're at the top of the COC chain of command, Unless you're bringing in them dollar bills, you're not gonna persuade Turkey Ali Sheik or influence him with any type of talk, any of that, man. He's not that person. You know what I'm saying? He's just not that person. Real talk. He just ain't it. Let's get to Gervonta Davis and his tweets. He sent this out. Everything's still a go. I'm still fighting in Houston. Now this was I keeps, reminding people. It seems like in one breath, the media is releasing, something totally different, saying that it's a money issue. I mean, it's a venue issue. The fight not taking place. It's gonna happen next year. And then turn around, we hear it's a money issue, dealing with those people over there at Papa Bravo Charlie. And then, people are trying to sit up here and juggle what side they want to debunk. They want to debunk the venue, or they want to debunk it's about money. About money, venue. Venue, about money. We know that boxing is a business. So when it comes down to the very, irky jerky, bad clutch type of freaking year that Papa Bravo Charlie has had, in 2024, even though you have people up here trying to add gasoline booster to it, like it's going to give you that turbo power you're looking for. No, when you got a bad clutch, you got a bad clutch, goddammit. Don't have shit to do what's in the tank. So if Tank is at a point where he's not getting paid, or they supposedly, allegedly, was trying to pay him less than what he got to Frank Martin, he has every right in his due diligence to what? Stand firm and find a way to negotiate. You know what I'm saying? Find a way to negotiate what he's worth. He has every right to do that. Point blank, period. Let me get to the chat right quick. Shout out to Arnold Brown in the building. I see you. What's good? What's good? Mike in the building. Andrew Charles in the building. What's good with it, Andrew? Tank still fighting Roach. Okay. So, Carlos asked, is Tank still fighting Roach? Well, we was trying to find out if the fight was still happening in Houston on the said name date in 2024. That's what a lot of us was trying to determine. Is the fight still going down in Houston? That's the big deal. Because look, Texas want to know. It's not like Davis hasn't been over there to Texas. He's been over there and set it off. But Houston, they want him to touch down in Houston. They want Tank Davis to touch down, split the ropes, and perform over there in Houston. Then we also read that the fight is potentially taking place in Washington, D.C. To try to say, well, the banner will read a Baltimore, D.C. type of damn rivalry. You know what I'm saying? You have all this circulatory freaking news out here, and you say to yourself, what is the substance? What is truth and what is lies when it deals with the potion of hocus pocus, agitprop that is put out here in the media? It's too much, y'all. It's freaking too much at the end of the day. Is it going to be in Washington, D.C., and all that? Is it going to still be in Houston? Is it not going to be until next year? Man, it's just so many points of freaking scuttlebutt that's out there, yo. So many points of scuttlebutt that's out there. And you got to say to yourself, God damn, when is it going to stop? They said that he ain't fighting. But Tank put out there, hey, everything's still a go. I'm still fighting in Houston. So you want to take the fighter's word as value and say, well, he's the one that's going to be the main event. If he's saying the fight a go, it's a go, right? Right? I mean, that's what I want to believe. I want to believe it's a go. I want to believe that it's everything is supposed to be, and people should start preparing for a Tank Davis fight over there. That's from his account, verified. He said, I'm still fighting in Houston. Everything still a go tells me that it's still on the date that it's supposed to be at. You know what I'm saying? So, hey, I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm just gonna leave it right there because I'm gonna put full faith in that Tank and Lamont Roach is still going down in Houston this year. And you know, like I always say about free promo, this fight is being spoken once again pro bono, and it's not even something that's really hyping up anything with the fighters going back and forth. You know what I'm saying? And talk and trash talking each other online. Boxing, when it comes to the hocus pocus, just don't have to do with being misdirected all over the media. No, it has something to do with all the arrows going in every which direction, all the little small fires that they set, all the little grenades that they throw in the media. We're about to go into November, and people are up here giving free promo to a Tank Davis Lamont Roach fight, pretty much trying to speculate where the fight is going to be, if the fight is actually going to be, and if they're going to be able to see. They trying to figure everything out. Oh, where's it going to be? It's going to be Houston. It's going to be DC. Is it going to be next year in January? What it is? And that's how this boxing game go, man. They get free publicity on controversial, speculative, freaking topics. It happens all the time, and this is no different. So I'm going off what Tank says. I'm still fighting in Houston. Then that's what it is. Some might say, well, he didn't give a date. He said everything's still a go. So if you staple that to the original fight date, everything's still a go based off the original, right? Let's hope everything get locked in and we can move forward. Jerron Ennis. Some of his fans going around here crying because they don't like to hear, healthy, constructive criticism. I don't know how many times I got to say, and I ain't kissing nobody's ass, especially, if they believe it should somehow be that way. It ain't happening. I tell people all the time, it's just strictly boxing, right? And I'm saying things that's beneficial. Like in the Corps, we cut different in the Marine Corps. You don't sit up here and baby when I came through, and like it's done changed from when I came through. But when I came through, we didn't baby, the troops. You had to get shit done. You had a mission to accomplish and get to the end state. That's what it was, right? But people felt some type of way that I was talking about. Ennis needs some PR work, which I still stand on that. But I'm talking about today. Can Ennis prove he's the real boogeyman in boxing? And this is somewhat a positive point about Ennis because he's extremely talented. I never once said he was a bum. That's not my terminology anyway. That's not even my sign language. You know what I'm saying? Because I'll be lying, straight up capping, if I said that Ennis is a bum. But on that note, moving forward, the big question from WCS is, can Ennis prove he's the real boogeyman in boxing? What do WCS mean by that? There's so many people that is providing Ennis with a tag of being a different type of fighter, being the one to beat. Once again, underlining, they are providing him with the tag as being the one to beat. When you are provided the tag, the one to beat, and they're waiting on your next move to prove that all the talk is for real. When you go in there next week against Corinne, it needs to be something different than what we've seen with Avanesian. You said you wasn't having fun in there. It looked like you was having fun to me. But you said you're gonna go in there and have fun. That's what you're gonna do. You're gonna go in there. I seen him landing some beautiful combinations. I seen him showboat. I seen him take low shots. I seen him, you know what I'm saying, just shine on Avanesian. I mean, beautiful work, and then just stop. Am I missing something? Like, was that not having fun when you was looking out at the crowd in Philly and showboating and playing around? Was you not having fun, bro? I speak on Ennis because he got mad talent potential, but his resume falls short of the language that people are using and put him at the top already. Quite opposite of the body of work that he's faced. So my biggest question is, what does he have to do next week to put himself in the title picture? And look, this is a fighter he already fought. So I don't want to shut it down. I don't want to cut the lights off on, the expectations. I don't want to say he's not going to get anything from this fight because it's Korean. But in reality, I'm telling the truth. If that was the case, what does he get off the Korean fight? What he needs to get is to go in there and put on a dominating performance. All right. Why do I say that? Because you signed with Matchroom and they have so much expectations for Jaron Ennis. Boxing has so much expectations for this 20-year-old. When you're titled and labeled and underscored as the phenom, bro, you got to go in there and get it popping. You can't have any shaky freaking performances where you just stunting on a fighter. You knock him down and you can't get him up out of there. You can't wipe his nose. We would like to see you go in there and just dominate. You know what I'm saying? Put on a boxing clinic if you have to. Every fighter you're not going to be able to knock out. But seeing what we seen last fight, I mean, your previous fight with Korean, I hope that's not the case. I hope he doesn't go over there and dictate the rhythm and flow over there. But on the other side, I hope that whatever it took for him to fight in Philly instead of Germany, I hope he's not giving us the Francis Ngannou special. He just want to go up there and all of a sudden act like his legs are freaking noodles. Like he can't stand up. Ugh, every shot is just, I can't even move around. My legs are heavy. Forearms are sweaty. You know what I'm saying? I mean, boxing can do that. Somehow, some way, I kind of get that feeling, but I ain't trying to be negative about this fight. With all the extra money given to have the fight in Philly, please, Father God of boxing, let this not be. Let this not be one of those fights where we expect the fighters to go in there and somewhat reciprocate what the first performance was, and then go in there and look totally different. You know what I'm saying? Like he has 2 blown ACLs and he can barely freaking stand up and goes out in a second. You know what I'm saying? Let this not be one of those fights, just the booster. I'm not saying Jaron can't get it done in 2 or 3 rounds. He's not a knockout artist. But I'm curious to know how this is going to play out. But getting back to the convo. I'm not sure if Ennis is going to be able to unify the entire division, but it would be good if he at least unified 1 or 2 belts at 147, because that will make it even more valuable when it comes to the conversation, the boxing talk, when he steps up to 154. It will make it even better. When they say, oh man, Ennis is moving up, people are going to want to see that fight now. I'm telling you, man, Ennis has the potential to be a special fighter. He has that. You know what I'm saying? When it comes to him putting the combos together, man, what a beautiful display. I'm serious. When he goes to the body up top and the range that he keeps and the speed for which he does it, beautiful, right? But can he do it against top level elite fighters? That is my question. Can he do it versus top level elite fighters? His resume doesn't provide us with the depiction, nor does it give us the curriculum that we want to reference when we're giving him the Phenom title. We need to go to the paperwork, the documentation, the legislation. That's what I want to go to. I want to see, okay, where are y'all basing this off of? That's all I'm saying. Does he, can he, will he prove he's the real boogeyman of boxing? Outside of his freaking personality, if Ennis goes on a tear, he goes in here and knocks out Karen, and then whoever else is next in line, preferably champion, he goes in here and shines on him. I think him just unifying one title is enough for him to move up to 154 if him and his team feel that he's comfortable. Because you have to say to yourself, you have the old guard that's moving out. It's just I'm questioning. I'm just putting some question marks out there. Is Ennis having a harder weight cut than we believe, and that's why he cannot go, keep pressing the gas throughout the entire fight? He has to take breaks. Should he be a 154 pounder right now? Because he looks in great shape when he comes, but he is Gunt. He's a big Gunt to me. You know what I'm saying? I know it's hard to tell with the beard, but it just seems like the weight cut is not as easy as people think it is. He's not a small fighter. Jaron Ennis is not a small fighter at all. But if he can lock in and calibrate his performances to basically combine the showboating with the skill set and put on a clinic where the entertainment value is at an all-time high, he's going to get the support from the boxing fans. It's just right now people are looking for him to step in his big black boots. They're looking for him to march in them bitches. That's what they waiting. The only way he's going to march in them big black boots is to find opponents that's equal, that's considered to be equal or greater the skill set of himself. Fighting all these fighters that, going in there and people don't believe they can beat you, it's not going to get you to that level boogeyman. It's not going to happen. You can't continue to beat mediocre opponents and let them, believe they're on your same level. No part of the fight. You know what I'm saying? You got to go in there and shine on him because he has mad talent, man. Jaron Ennis has mad talent, bro. But it's just his body of work with that many fights. Man. Now it's just all about going on a tear. You know what I'm saying? Ennis, you have to go on a rampage right now. Because if they're going to say you're the boogeyman, you got to start scaring dudes. Bro. It's an article out here, right? Where's that article? Let me go to this right quick. It's an article out here, Boxing News 24, speaking on Jaron Ennis, right? It says 147-pound champions want Big Doe to face Jaron Ennis. The champions at 147 want Big Doe to face welterweight champion Jaron Boots Ennis for unification fights. Ennis is too dangerous, and the other champions don't want to take less than big money for a fight that they don't think they can win. Boots promoter Eddie Hearn hasn't shown the willingness to pay the champions the money they want. It costs money to set these fights up, And Boots, 32-0, 29 knockouts, has yet to become a pay-per-view attraction. To lure these champions into taking a fight that they know they can't win, Hearn will need to overpay, and he's not shown the willingness to do that. Unless Hearn is willing to start investing money in Ennis to make these fights happen, to transform him into a star, he needs to give up on his dream of becoming an undisputed champion. Isn't that somewhat what I've been saying? Just because somebody put it in print, is it different from what I'm saying? You want to criticize the person that you have access to, but for someone you don't, you let them slide. That's to all the whiners out there swimming in a box of Kleenex and a river of snot bubbles. Eddie Hearns was unwilling and showed his unwillingness to invest the money in Jaron Ennis. And all WCS said was, don't say you don't care about what the fans think. They're the ones that's going to be donors, contributors, payees, consumers that coming to see you fight. So you have to prove that you're on a whole nother level and pick the opponents to challenge you. If Eddie Hearns is unwilling to take the next step, what make you think we're going to grab a ladder and try to beat him to the top? As if we're going to expect something great to happen. You have to fight the opponent. They're saying it right here, the same shit. In order for him to transform into a star, you just have to be very selective and going on a rampage, yo. You have to pick the fighters that's going to challenge you and test your will to put you at that superstar level. Well, I take that back. Put you at that star level. One wrong at a time. We need to fight. We need the fights that put him at a higher level that people can say going into that fight, oh man, this is 50-50. You at least want them to say it's a 50-50. I guarantee you they're not saying that about Corinne. They're not saying, oh, Corinne is a 50-50. Let's read. When you get to the level where Jaron Ennis is at, where he's a world champion and a dangerous guy, opponents out there are going to ask for a bag, said Chris Mannix to the Zone Boxing on X about the problems confronting IBF 147-pound Jaron Boots Ennis, about his problems getting unification fights against the other welterweight champions. That's what happened with the Brian Norman situation. They wanted a pile of money if they were going to get in the ring with Boots. The same with Stantionis. The same thing with Barrios. These guys know Eddie Hearn needs to make big fights for his star fighter, and they're going to demand the kind of cash accordingly. Do y'all believe what Chris Mannix said? I mean, let's go on. It's not just that the champions know that Hearn is needy. They obviously feel that they can't win this fight, and they're not just pointing to give away their world titles for $1 million. You can't blame champions like WBO belt holder Brian Norman Jr. for wanting $2.2 million to face a talent like Ennis in his hometown of Philadelphia. And you know, look, I've been on record as it was spinning, and I said, hey, they going in there in enemy territory. We're going in your backyard, and you're trying to say you want to feed me crumbs, and I am a world champion. And it's so much that people didn't want to recognize that was going on. Like when Rachel, she kind of explained the whole situation about the IBF reaching out. You know what I'm saying? And, you know, being that the mandatory was looming in the shadows, you had a certain period of time, Eddie had a certain period of time to respond to the IBF. If they was going to try to ask for an exception to unify with Brian Norman Jr., and from what Rachel Donaire mentioned, it was that Eddie Hearns didn't respond for 2 weeks. NINI, no impact, no idea. So that cut into the window. And then you're thinking about the IBF. And once again, I was educated on this procedure and this protocol. Once they send out the letter for the mandatory, there's no more room or window for an exception letter to go out from Hearn. No more. Nothing else to be accepted. But if you wanted to send an exception letter, from what I've learned, they would have had to send out the letter with a non-refundable $20,000 check. Yeah, shout out to Rachel Donaire for that. Jim, G-E-M. You know what I'm saying? They would have had to send a $20,000 non-refundable. Now, I must give you the flip side of that. If by chance Team Ennis need an exception letter, and if they was injured, disabled, anything, possibly that 20,000 would have been waived. Okay, but that wasn't the case here. Hearns, from my understanding, did not respond accordingly in a timely manner to the IBF to try to make this Norman Jr. fight. So when the IBF sent that mandatory letter out, no more exception letters is coming down the pike to the IBF from Team Ennis. It's a wrap. Now you have to deal with the IBF. You have a certain period to respond, or else the IBF would do what they do best. You would go through a striptease. You might not lose your clothes unless you got a sweater or a hoodie over that belt. Then your hoodie might come off when they strip that belt off you too. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Just a little bit of info for you. So when it comes down to information like this, when people are talking about Eddie don't want to pay, why sign the fighter? I think in the reality of it all, I think assumingly that Hearn is going to try his best after this fight to have Ennis fight over in Saudi against a big name for a big paycheck, the most money he's ever made. He's definitely not making a heavy bag over there in Philly fighting Korean. Also after this fight, I'm going to assume, right? And I'm not any type of effigy that people worship that cover boxing. I'm not considered any type of approving authority for the pantheon of boxing, but I'm going to assume that something strange and weird is going to happen with the Korean fight. I believe that Eddie Hearn is desperate, being that he has been on a drought when it comes to that W. You know what I'm saying? That W, that whiskey, that letter whiskey. I mean, how long it's going to take for him to freaking get a win? So with this, Ennis supposedly have to be one of the big names over there signed with Matchroom. They need something special like Joshua had of Francis Ngannou. But what did WCS say? It was a setup. And what happened to Joshua when he fought Dubois? WCS also put out there that Otto Wallin didn't do shit to get stopped in that fight. Then he goes out there for 20 million, he knocks out Francis Ngannou. What happened to Francis Ngannou when he just won a title over there at PFL? They said it only did 10,000 pay-per-views. People wasn't believing this shit. They was like, dude, you go the distance with Fury, and then, I'm getting off topic. But what I'm trying to tell you is, I feel it's going to be something a little bit Halloweenish that's going to happen in the Korean fight. Somewhat like, what we used to seeing when you see these freaking fights turn out a certain way. You say, I know you fucking lying. Hey, I'm telling you, remember I said that this fight is going to piss some people off, but not the ones who's looking to see Ennis fight somebody else. People are going to support their fighter. You know what I'm saying? They want to see Ennis go up here and do this, that, and the other. I do too. But people have to stop thinking that it's a forbidden language to say that fixed fights happen in boxing. They happen in boxing. We see it all the time. And when it plays out, people want to ignore it and act like, nah, that was just straight a good shot. He landed. No, not at all. Not at all. We saw Korean go the distance. He's back in the picture. And who has knocked him out? Korean haven't been stopped. You know, Korean's only loss prior to Jaron Ennis was it's like second or third professional fight. That's how long it's been since that man has lost. Before he lost to Ennis, he only lost in his second or third professional fight. So I'm telling you, if he goes in here and get blasted out, hey, the special lottery number is 5 or less. Those of you that's betting on the fight, 5 or less. Yes, 5 or less. Hey, Ennis can't let this shit go past David Avanesian. Like I just said, I brought up the knockouts for a reason. Korean has never been stopped. David Avanesian had already been stopped twice by Igis Kavalauskas and Terrence Crawford, both in the 6th round. Jaron Ennis happened to fight a common opponent, David Avanesian, and the fight was stopped in the 5th round. How dare they? This fight can't go past 5. WCS is putting it out there. I'm putting it out there. This fight won't go past 5. It won't go past 5. Watch what I tell you. Watch what I tell you. You can come back and give me a super chat. All right? You can come back and give me a super chat. But this fight right here, with all the freaking special paperwork, you know what I'm saying? The benefits package for freaking Korean to fight in Philly when he could have fought over there in Germany. You know what I'm saying? The care package that he received. The fight ain't going past 5 rounds. The fight is not going past 5 rounds. Once again, I repeat, the fight, Jaron Ennis versus Korean Children, is not going past 5 rounds. It can't. Just like David Avanesian couldn't go past 6, regardless of what Korean did in the first fight. They're not trying to go the distance. Again, with the fighter, there's not even the conversation as being on Boots' level. But based off Boots' last performance with Avanesian being stopped by the doctor, people are not buying it. Just like they said in this article, people are not buying this shit, yo. Look, Ennis is making a lower level defense against IBF mandatory Korean Chudikin next month in a rematch on November 9th at the Wells Fargo Center in Philadelphia. Hearns failed to negotiate a unification fight between Ennis and Norman, which is why Boots is stuck with the defense against Karen. Stuck, they said. Stuck. So what does stuck mean in this case? We need to see something that's going to take us out of the funk. That's what I'm saying. We need to see a performance. God damn it. We need to see some of shock and awe. You feel me? Of shock and awe. You know how you get them clouds out there and you see the lightning. Okay. You see the lightning flickering through the skies. You know what I'm saying? You know shit brewing. You know it. You can feel a slight breeze. And then you know the type of breeze you out there. It's like, damn, this weather feel good. Man, it's a nice breeze out here. You turn to the girl, baby, don't you think so? It's a nice breeze. Yeah, it's a nice breeze out here. You know what I'm saying? And you see the lightning flicking through the sky. And then you say, you know what? It's like it's about to get a little nasty out here. We're going to take it to the house. Boom, you go inside the crib. 20 minutes pass by. That's when you hear that goddamn snap, crackle, pop. Boom. Boom. That thunder comes in to have a dialogue with the lightning. You know what I'm saying? We need some thunder with the lightning. We ain't talking about that fake shit. We're not talking about sound effects there, Ennis. We need you to put on a motherfucking show. Now, hey, I told people that fight wasn't going past 6 rounds with Avanesian. I told him. They don't never want to reference me. It's okay. It's fine, dog. It's okay. It's okay. It's fine. But being that this last fight with David Avanesian did not go into the 6th, it was stopped. Pay attention. They need something special. Like desperate times calls for desperate measures. And we know a fighter like Koran that has 2 losses, one via split decision and the other one via unanimous decision. Lastly, from Jaron Ennis, it has to be something special. And you know what? I think that money that they gave him to have that fight in Philly, that care package all niced up, that pretty ass bow they put on that bitch, that wrapping paper that they had, you know what I'm saying? They sent him some cologne in that bitch with some prepaid cards. You know what I'm saying? They gave him the slow burner. You know, something he can get his mind right after the fight. This fight ain't going past 5 rounds, y'all. If Jaron is listening, you're going to catch a lot of flack if Koran goes past 5 rounds. You know already. Koran knows already. This fight can't go the distance. And ain't nobody trying to see you go into the late rounds like you did Ramon Villa, based off a fight he had with Rashidi Ellis. Ain't nobody trying to hear that you want to prove to the people that you can go the distance. Nope, wipe that away. Nobody wants to hear that you're going to go in there and have fun. No, wipe that away. That's why I have criticism and the shit that he says, because he say the same shit over and over again. Nobody wants to see you say you ain't in there having fun. No, you are blessed. You are genetically blessed to be able to go in there and be one of the best boxers and consider the best boxers. The only way that you're going to get the pay-per-view push from the consumers and also to ever get on the pound for pound list, you have to give a damn about those who are watching. You have to give a damn about who you're selecting. You have to give a damn about all that shit. You can't let this fight with Koran go past 5 rounds, homie. You know that. You know it ain't going past 5. Boxing is about to get treated to another stage show. Watch what I tell you. Watch what I tell you, dog. If you're betting, bet under 5 rounds. If you're betting. If you bet the fight don't go over past 5 rounds. Bet, man. I'm telling you. Y'all up here thinking this boxing and they signing booths and they looking for a breakout fight. Look, they're gonna try to use this Koran guy as a pogo stick. For real. They're gonna look for a boost. It's like being on a pogo stick with jetpacks. They're gonna try to use his name to show the people something that they didn't see coming. It's up WCS. They didn't see coming to set him up for a potential unification at 147 with another champion or moving up to 154. He needs a overwhelming performance value with this next opponent, Koran. 5 or less. You know what I'm saying? 5 or less. Look what I tell you. 5 or less with Korean Chudikin. 5 or less. Watch what I tell you. Boots already seen some training videos with him and Greg Hackett. You know, he's in shape as always. That's one thing you can't say about him. He's always in the gym. But God damn it, we need for you to change and shift gears on your on how you address the fans out here. Address us like you communicating, like you're ring walking. Once Boots start to learn how to dress the media like his ring walk, then people will start paying attention and perking up and saying, oh shit, talk to your fans like your ring walk, man. The confidence and the smile that you have on your face, the air, the aura that he brings when he's ring walking, he needs to transfer that over to the presser this upcoming week. He needs that to the presser. And I know you listening. Pops, Bozy, your son needs to be more open, more spontaneous in front of the freaking press. Give them the energy that you have in the ring walk to set this fight up so people can tune in. But like I said before, people, without repeating myself too many times, this fight ain't going past five. This fight ain't going past 5, shouty. I said the David Avenesian fight wasn't going past 6. And they didn't even want to go into the 6th round. Korean is not about to go the distance with Jaron Ennis in Philly. It ain't happening because they're trying to boast and put Jaron Ennis on the freaking launch pad to a bigger and better fight, and they need a reference. They need a reference. They need something to basically get the fans to tune in and say, hey, we need a highlight reel. We want to clip this. We want to put all these out on social media. Come on. Hey, Korean. You understand? The Ennis hype. Dozo. You get it? Okay. Joshua got it. You know what I'm saying? Hey, Joshua understood that Francis Ngannou was going to come to the center and he need to land a shot that looks like the perfect shot in which he did. Goddamn, Francis Ngannou fell back on that leg and he seen them sheep jumping over the fence. And goddamn, they had a backpack on their back and money was coming out of it. You know what I'm saying? It was just when the sheep was jumping on the fence, the money was coming out and it was just going everywhere like it was blowing in the wind. All those hundreds of dollars, you know what I'm saying, that Francis know he was about to get. And all those little Tweety birds, they were singing with joy, you know what I'm saying, while flying around the goddamn cloud of money. Yeah. Francis Ngannou threw a fight for $20 million, a purse that he never would have seen in mixed martial arts. So what you think about to happen with Korean? I'm not saying it's going to be a fixed fight. I'm just saying it ain't going past 5. If you're betting, bet it ain't. Hey, it's not going past 5 rounds. At this point in Ennis's career, if they care anything about not winning that purse bid and getting this fight in Philly, this fight ain't going past 5. 5 or under. Mark it. Let me get back to the chat. I don't know about this Boots guy, but he needs to be active. Well, you know, he's just coming off the David Avenesian fight. You know what I'm saying? He's coming off the Avenesian fight. He fought David Avenesian in July 2024. I think certain people, like boxing fans, no knock on Andrew, but I think with a lot of boxing fans, I've been hearing like they thinking fighters. I mean, he fought Avenesian in July this year. That just goes to show you that boxing has been a little shaky this year. You know what I'm saying? Boot should have did everything in his power to make that Norman fight. Well, I don't know if y'all was listening to the when Rachel Donaire came on here, but she pretty much broke it down as to why. When you say boots, it wasn't up to Boots, of course, it was up to Eddie Hearns. And supposedly, you know, per what was being flown out here in the media airwaves, Eddie Hearns wasn't responding to the IBF, who had a mandatory in Wake. See, what comes around comes back around. You know what I'm saying? The way the IBF did Crawford, and he didn't even have that IBF championship a solid 120 days at least. And how Jaron Ennis got that belt and say, hey, come take it and all this other shit. I could go off on the tar. I'm not going to do that. But now you going in there with the defense of a guy who is your mandatory. Y'all sent Crawford a letter because the IBF said he needed to negotiate with you, Judge Jaron Ennis. He couldn't have done that because the sanctioning body has authority over a promotion to promotion contract. So, you know, the promotions don't have seniority or proven authority over sanctioned bodies mandatory, such as the IBF showed you. So that's why when they sent that out, knowing that Crawford and Spence was in a lock for a rematch, they stripped him of the title. Now, moving forward, if Jaron Ennis, if Hearn would have sent that exception letter to the IBF, possibly they could have approved for them to negotiate with Brian Norman if Eddie Hearns wanted to pay that money out. But check this out. That would have been a tough fight for Jaron Ennis. That would have been a tough fight for Norman Jr. That would have been a tough fight, bro, for both fighters. But for somehow, it was said that Eddie Hearns did not respond to the IBF about the mandatory that was coming up. And if he could have, if he would have did it, he would have had to, like I said, what Rachel Donaire mentioned, they had to send a non-refundable $20,000 check with an exception letter to basically negotiate with Brian Norman for a unification and get an exception not to face his mandatory in Korean Chudigan. That didn't happen. So this is where we at right now. It wasn't Boots and everything is power. It was Hearn. You know what I'm saying? But I know what you mean, though. Oh, he's active, Andrew, with some ankle socks. Damn, dog. I hate being hard on Boots too, because people say he's a really good guy in person. Yeah, I'm not. Look, you know, you got some soft people these days. Like when you're talking boxing, it's boxing talk. But then you have these people that are always trying to line you up and act like you getting personal. He don't come off and give no type of energy. I just, you know, in response to what I see, I just want him to do better when it comes to the media, because he says the same thing and repeat. You know what I'm saying? He has it in loop. You know what I'm saying? People may not like what I'm saying, but it's like when he gets in front of the microphone, it's in loop. I've heard it before. I'm gonna step on him. I'm gonna step on him. How much you gonna step on in your boots, bro? How many times you gonna say you're gonna step on him, bro? What does stepping on mean exactly? 5 or less, y'all. That's stepping on him. Let's see if you step on Koran in 5 or less. Prove me that I don't know what I'm talking about. People claim Boots is better than Crawford. So that's the bar that's been set in my mind. Absolutely. Andrew, you know what it is. I've been trying to do this entire live stream without really providing that Crawford language. I was really just trying to speak and be vocal about Korean Chudigan and Jaron Ennis. You know what I'm saying? Without bringing Crawford into it. But you are in the right direction. You know what I'm saying? They say, hey, Crawford, you need. But we need to see Jaron Ennis fight a worthy, considerable opponent to be 50-50. We need an opponent that is deemed to be 50-50, step in there with Boost, and we need Boost to make him seem like he's less than 50 by showing out. That's what he needs to do. Shout out to the boxing queen, Jessica, in the building. What's good with it? Hope all is well with you and your husband and the fam. You know what I'm saying? We heading into Wednesday, you know what I'm saying? Midweek. You know what I'm saying? People are eager to get to the weekend to see some more fights. You know what I'm saying? But like I mentioned, before, a simple question. And I'm not gonna go to the other side. All I'm saying is I said the shit about Joshua, and it happened. People don't want to think like that, man. You know what I'm saying? People don't want to put that out there, but this is the fight. Jaron Ennis has to go in here and look astounding, impeccable. He has to go in here and show boxing that he can live a percentage of the hype, not Crawford hype, but I'm talking about at least show him that you can fly. Even if you have to use one wing and fly in a circle, goddammit, show them that you can fly to new heights, man. Show them you can elevate. You're going in there. I'm telling you, the fight is not going past 5 rounds. The fight ain't going past 5 rounds. Because I'll tell you another reason why it would look bad on him if it went past 5 rounds. Because Albanesian has been in there with some, competition. You know what I'm saying? We already know. But who's the big name on Kareem's resume? You know what I'm saying? Who's the big name? Harry Scarf? Huh? Rossetti Stone? Marcano? Michelle Marcano? Who's the big name? Ryan Martin? Oh, I guess Ryan Martin, he gets a little claim to fame because he's the one that stepped in there with, I believe, Mario Barrios, because I was at that fight. Where is it? Where is it? Where is you at, man? Let me see. I know him. Is this the same Ryan? Is it? No, it's not the same Ryan Martin. Yeah, it is. It has to be. No. I'll take that back. I recant. Who did he fight over there then? No, that's the wrong one. Put that back in the motherfucking bag. He has body on his resume to Marvel. Where are they? So you can't allow this fight to go past 5 rounds. You can't, yo. He just can't, man. So if you betting, put it out there. The fight ain't going past 5 rounds. The fight ain't getting past 5. I would bet that Chukin don't make it out 3. Something's gonna happen with a knockout. Something's gonna happen with a knockout where the referee may potentially stop it, or he might just go down, because we seen David Avanesian survive. We seen him get knocked down and get up. So it's not gonna be a flat line like Francis Ngannou unless Kareem allows it to be a flat line. Seriously. You can look at Ramon Villa. How was he stopped? He was on his knees. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you look at how Norman Jr. stopped his last opponent, then that was pretty brutal. You know what I'm saying? That was pretty brutal. What was the other recent knockout that happened? Then who was that got knocked out? Who was that? I forgot. I'm drawing a blank right now. I'm drawing a blank. But Also, I want to leave you with this when it comes down to Naoya Inoue. Once again, WCS will remind you all what I said about the old guard leaving. There is a race to be up there and be the next pay-per-view star. I have been high on just Bam Rodriguez. You know, once again, certain people got mad because I said he should be the main event in Philly. That individual, the truth hurts. You know what I'm saying? I'm just saying the truth hurt. Just Rodriguez. I put this out there, right? I said Inoue or Inoue is one of those fighters like Lomachenko used to be, where, you know what I'm saying, you want to have a fight with him. But Inoue doesn't have a huge following over here. So recently, Bruce Carrington said he was ready to step and face Inoue before he went in there and had his last opponent. Nobody's mentioning Shushu Carrington right now to face Inoue. But you know who they are mentioning? You know who they trying to get already? They trying to line up Jess Rodriguez, who's on the co-main event, to potentially face a Roman Gonzalez next year, right? But ultimately, they trying to get him in conversation for a super fight between him and Inoue. Because Inoue say it's too much for him to move down a weight outside of super bantamweight. So of course we heard the news lines. We read the news lines that Jess Rodriguez may potentially face Roman Gonzalez, aka Chocolatito. And people are sleeping on Bam. People are sleeping on Bam. Look, yeah, it's sometimes you get criticism for fighters, right? That get knocked down. You know what I'm saying? It happens. But when your performance value is not, do or die, but when you get up and you show heart and courage, intestinal fortitude, and you're in a war, and it's a clean war. What I mean by clean war, it's not something that's a fluke. You're not losing your freaking mind. You don't give us that Oliver McCall vibe, like you about to start just losing and go on a rampage in the audience. No, Bam has been putting on some hell of a performance, yo. Especially when he came off the Sonny Edwards and went up there and did what he did to Juan Estrada, yo. Now they're trying to line him up with the Japanese superstar for a future fight. I'm telling you, you better keep your eyes. A lot of people that like Bam Rodriguez, yo. He has the it factor. There's a lot of boxing fans that's going to have that support for Bam. And look, if you keep on sleeping on him, you're gonna see him on pay-per-view. I'm telling you, once he get the super bantamweight, you're gonna see him on pay-per-view. If him and Inoue is gonna be on pay-per-view. Just the fact that this is in conversation amongst them trying to make big fights, that fight is gonna be on pay-per-view. And for Ennis, you do not want your co-op pay-per-view with a superstar before you do. You don't want that. I hope you boxing fans see the play. I hope you see the play now. Just because somebody's in your company doesn't mean they're there for your benefit. Jerron Ennis needs to understand how that works. Jess Rodriguez is not there for Jerron Ennis's benefit. Jess Rodriguez, they're trying to push him for the big mega fight. Yeah, he's in Philly. Who would have thought Rodriguez would be in Philly fighting the co-main event? They're turning Bam over to a whole nother audience. They're turning Bam over to freaking Boots' audience. Y'all better watch the play. Y'all better y'all better pay attention. It's not going to be a good look if Bam Rodriguez get a fight with a superstar before Boots and he was your co-op in freaking Philly. I'm just putting it out there, yo. They lining Bam up for big things. And you know what? It's a lot of boxing fans out here digging his performance value and him as a fighter and his personality and everything. You know what I'm saying? It's a lot of people digging him, bro. Don't say I didn't tell you. Shout out to Haynes Legacy in the building. What's good? What's good with you, bro? Bam is in my top 5 fighters right now. Yeah, for sure. I'm telling you, Bam has the it factor. Bam has the it factor, and he can box. Dude can box. Dude can box. He's entertaining. I told y'all what to play. I told y'all, man. They should not get comfortable with Bam Rodriguez being the co-main event. Yeah, people felt some type of way because I said, hey, after Bam Rodriguez fight, they better not pan through the crowd. I'm telling you, like they did Shakur. I'm telling you, yo. They better not pan through that motherfucking crowd, dog. I know they're not going to do that, but I wouldn't advise it. Because there's a lot of people that's looking forward to that co-main event. Bet that. A lot of boxing fans looking forward to see Bam Rodriguez in the co-main event. It's up to them. I'm not putting no lead out there or whatever. But it's up to Team Ennis to go in there and stunt and show out. You didn't show out against David Avanesian, in my opinion. But you need to show out in your backyard. And you need to make sure that you heard what WCS said. Hey, Ennis knows it. Ennis knows the fight ain't going past 5 rounds. Bozy knows it too. It can't go past 5. If the shit didn't matter what I was saying, the fight with Avanesian would have went into the 6th round, but it didn't. It didn't. Shout out to the hottest chat in the MF game, A-Side Official. Appreciate everyone for pulling up and supporting the channel as always. Until next time, I'm out.